The storm raged like a beast unleashed, its howls echoing across the desolate waterway. Raindrops hammered against the old bridge, each drop a reminder of the chaos that enveloped Sarah Montgomery's life. Just weeks ago, she had been a weary single mother, juggling her job at the local diner and the endless responsibilities of raising two spirited children alone. Now, the weight of the world rested heavily upon her shoulders as she stared at the sunken paddle-wheel boat, the SS Foundry. The boat had belonged to her estranged father, James Montgomery, a man she barely knew but whose legacy had just landed in her lap like a lead weight. It wasn't the first time Sarah had been faced with a challenge. Life had dealt her a rough hand. Her ex-husband, Thomas Harrison, had left without so much as a goodbye, leaving her to navigate the murky waters of parenthood alone. With bills piling up and no sign of financial relief, the notification of her inheritance had felt like a cruel joke. She had no interest in the dilapidated vessel. It was nothing more than a rusting relic of a past she wished to forget. As she stood there, drenched and shivering, a sense of unease crept over her. The SS Foundry had a storied past, a celebrated riverboat in its heyday before tragedy struck. It had sunk during a storm much like this one, taking with it the hopes and dreams of its crew and passengers. Now it lay submerged in shallow waters, a ghost of its former self. But there were whispers in the small town of Riverbend, whispers of treasure hidden within its bowels, remnants of a fortune lost in time. Just a hunk of junk, she muttered under her breath, attempting to shake off the ominous feeling that enveloped her as she glanced at the outline of the vessel, its paddle-wheel encrusted with grime. Yet, as she turned to walk away, a thought struck her. What if there really was something valuable hidden beneath the gloom? Her father had always been a treasure hunter at heart. His stories of lost artifacts and hidden gems seared into her memory. She had scoffed at those tales, but now, desperation clawed at her mind. Could this be her chance? The urgency of her financial turmoil gnawed at her. She couldn't afford to let this opportunity slip away. Gathering her courage, Sarah decided to explore the possibility of retrieving whatever lay inside the boat. However, she knew she couldn't possibly do this alone. The thought sent her heart racing. The last thing she wanted was to involve anyone else in her chaotic life. That evening, Sarah sat at her cluttered kitchen table, staring at the legal documents that detailed her inheritance, her mind racing with thoughts of what could be at stake. The SS Foundry had been the pride of the Montgomery family, boasting histories of lavish parties and riverboat gambling. If evidence of treasure existed, it would be more than just a windfall. It would be a lifeline for her children and herself. But who could she trust with such a monumental task? The thought of her father's old friend, Nathaniel Blake, flickered into her mind like a beacon. Nathaniel had always been a peculiar man, an explorer with a penchant for diving and adventure. He had been a close confidant to her father and would often regale her with stories of their escapades on the river. He knew the waterways like the back of his hand. But their relationship had soured over the years, a rift caused by the pain of abandonment and loss. Maybe it's time to put the past behind us, she whispered to herself, determination filling her. The next day, Sarah found herself standing on the edge of the riverbank, the flurry of thoughts swirling in her head as she dialed Nathaniel Blake's number. Each ring echoed like a drum, the anxiety prickling her skin. "Come on, pick up," she urged silently. When his gruff voice finally answered, surprise laced with wariness greeted her. "Sarah, is that you?" His tone was cautious. "Nathaniel, it's me. I need your help," she said, the weight of her request hanging between them like a heavy fog. She explained the situation, the sunken boat, her father's legacy, the possible treasure. "Treasure, you say?" Nathaniel's enthusiasm was palpable, yet mingled with doubt. "That boat has been at the bottom for years. It's dangerous. I don't know if it's wise to venture there. I don't have a choice." Sarah's voice cracked with desperation. "I can't let this chance slip away." My kids depend on me. Silence stretched between them, laden with unspoken history. Finally, Nathaniel sighed. Fine, I'll help you. But Sarah, it's not just treasure we'll be looking for. There are also secrets in that boat. Secrets that might be best left buried. With a mix of excitement and dread, Sarah agreed to meet Nathaniel at first light the following day. As she hung up, a shiver danced down her spine. What secrets lay in the depths of the SS Foundry? Would they uncover lost riches, or were they stirring up something best left undisturbed? The stakes had been set, and as Sarah prepared for the next chapter of her life, one thing was clear. This adventure would not only challenge her but might also unearth the hidden truths of her family's past, and the perilous journey that lay ahead for her and her children. As Sarah stood on the rickety dock, staring at the SS Foundry swaying gently in the water, a knot of anxiety twisted in her stomach. She had never anticipated inheriting a sunken paddle-wheel boat, let alone one with a mysterious past. The boat's weathered hull beckoned her to explore, yet the darkness beneath its surface whispered warnings she couldn't ignore. What if the treasure they sought was not merely a financial windfall but a Pandora's box of family secrets? Her phone buzzed in her pocket, snapping her from her thoughts. It was a text from Nathaniel, the local historian who seemed far too eager to stake a claim on whatever riches lay within the SS Foundry. She had agreed to meet him at the dock, but now she wondered if that had been a mistake. Nathaniel was charming, intelligent, and had a way of making her feel small in his presence. But she couldn't shake the feeling that beneath his polished exterior lay a more sinister motive. Sarah, Nathaniel greeted her, his voice smooth as silk. I'm glad you could make it. The crew is ready to dive, but I think we need to discuss something first. He gestured to the boat, and Sarah felt her heart race. What's on your mind? She asked, keeping her tone steady, despite the unease creeping into her chest. Nathaniel leaned closer, his eyes gleaming with excitement. While doing some research, I stumbled upon records that suggest this boat was involved in illicit activities during its operational years. There could be more than just treasure hidden within. Sarah narrowed her eyes. Illicit activities? What do you mean? He straightened, stepping back slightly as if to gauge her reaction. Smuggling, Sarah. There are whispers of a cargo hold filled with treasures that were never delivered. If we can find them, it could change everything for both of us. Her stomach churned. And what's in it for you, Nathaniel? You hardly know me. Ah, but I know enough. You need this just as much as I do, he replied, his tone shifting to one of persuasion. Think about it. You have 2 children to care for. I could help you secure your future. Or you could be trying to exploit my family's history for your gain. Sarah shot back, her voice rising with indignation. I'm not interested in playing your games. This is about my family, not a treasure hunt. Nathaniel's expression hardened. You're making a mistake, Sarah. You can't just walk away from this. People like us, we know what it's like to be burdened by the past. This is your chance to rewrite your family's history. His words hung in the air, heavy and charged. A part of her wanted to believe him, to trust that this could lead to something that would benefit her family, but her instincts screamed caution. She had to protect her children, even if it meant standing up against Nathaniel. I'll decide what's best for my family, she said firmly. And right now, that means moving forward without you. With that, she turned on her heel and walked towards her car. The weight of her decision pressed down on her, but she felt an unexpected surge of confidence. As she drove away, however, she couldn't shake the feeling that her confrontation with Nathaniel had only ignited the flames of conflict. The following day, Sarah gathered her children, Emma and Jake, at the kitchen table, spreading out the faded blueprints of the SS Foundry. They were excited, their eyes sparkling with curiosity as she explained her plan to explore the boat. You mean we're going there? Like now? Emma exclaimed, clapping her hands. Yes, but we need to be cautious. This is a big adventure, and I want you both to stay close to me. Sarah replied, feeling a mix of apprehension and determination. As they arrived at the dock, Sarah's heart raced with anticipation. The SS Foundry loomed larger than life, its decaying wooden structure telling tales of its former glory. She could almost hear the echoes of laughter and life that had once filled its decks. "Stay together," she reminded the children as they made their way onto the boat. The smell of salt and mildew enveloped them, and with each step, Sarah felt the past stir around her. Just as they reached the main cabin, Sarah caught sight of something out of the corner of her eye. Nathaniel stood there, arms crossed, casting a long shadow over their exploration. "I knew you couldn't resist," he said with a smirk, stepping closer. "But you shouldn't be here with children. This isn't a playground. It's dangerous. We can handle ourselves," Sarah shot back defiantly, her children standing behind her, faces set with determination. "And I won't let you intimidate me." Nathaniel's smile faded, replaced by something darker. "Just remember, Sarah, I know things that you don't. If you're smart, you'll consider working with me. I can help you." "I don't need your help," Sarah replied, her voice unwavering despite the tension crackling in the air. "I'm here to honor my family, not to be pawed over like a bargaining chip." Nathaniel's gaze hardened, and Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. "You're making a mistake. There are people who want what's down there. People who won't hesitate to use force." "Is that a threat?" she asked, her heart racing as the weight of his words sank in. "Just a warning," he said, his expression unreadable. "You don't want to be caught in the middle of something you can't control." As he turned to leave, Sarah felt a surge of fear but also a deep-rooted resolve. She had to protect her children, and that meant forging ahead with or without Nathaniel. If the SS Foundry held the secrets of her family's past, she would uncover them, no matter the cost. With a determined breath, she turned back to Emma and Jake, their eyes wide with anticipation. "Let's explore," she said, steeling herself for whatever lay ahead. The pulse of adventure thrummed in her veins, and she was ready to face whatever darkness awaited them in the depths below. As Sarah and Nathaniel slipped beneath the surface of the murky waters surrounding the sunken paddle-wheel boat, an eerie silence enveloped them, broken only by the sound of their own breathing. The dampness was heavy, the water cool against their skin, and the darkness ahead felt almost palpable. As they descended deeper, the faint silhouette of the boat emerged, its wooden frame cloaked in shadows and time. "Do you think it's really down here?" Nathaniel asked, his voice a muted whisper through the diving gear. Sarah nodded, a surge of determination coursing through her. They reached the entrance of the sunken vessel, the gaping hole where the stairs had once led up to a bustling deck. The glimmer of light from their torches caught on the remnants of faded paint, revealing the splendor that had once been. With a firm grip on her flashlight, Sarah led the way inside, heart racing at the thought of the treasure that could await them. As they moved through the narrow corridor, the beams from their torches illuminated remnants of a forgotten past. Rusting machinery, broken furniture, and a tangle of fishing nets. But it was at the end of the corridor where they paused, breathless. The old boiler room lay before them, an ominous space filled with the detritus of years gone by. "Over there," Sarah pointed, her heart thumping in anticipation. In the corner of the room, half buried beneath a layer of mud and debris, lay a large, ornate chest. Its iron fittings were corroded, but the craftsmanship was undeniable. A glint of gold peeked through the muck, sending a shiver of excitement down her spine. "Yes, that's it," Nathaniel exclaimed, urgency sparking in his eyes as he quickly moved towards the chest. But Sarah's heart sank. The fierce competitiveness that had brewed between them flared to life once more. "Nathaniel, wait!" she called out, grabbing his arm. "We both know this discovery is mine. I inherited the boat. We need to be cautious about how we approach this. There could be legalities." Nathaniel's jaw tightened. "You're serious? After all this?" You're really going to let a paper trail dictate what we found together?" His tone was incredulous, the tension between them reaching a boiling point. "Together," Sarah repeated incredulously, her voice rising. "You've only thought about your profit the entire time, Nathaniel. I haven't just inherited a boat. I've inherited a legacy, something my family fought for. Those treasures belong to my past, not to your ambitions." His eyes flashed with indignation. "And what about the future, Sarah? Do you think you can just keep this miracle all to yourself? It could change our lives." "Change our lives? You mean your life?" she shot back. The water around them felt charged, a storm brewing beneath the surface of their conflict. "You've only ever seen this as a means to your end. I thought you understood the meaning behind this discovery. It's about honor, heritage." "Honor," Nathaniel spat, his voice echoing in the confined space. "What about the honor of a family struggling to make ends meet? Your nostalgia won't pay the bills." They stood there, hearts pounding, the shadows of the wreck looming over them like specters of their own discontent. But deep within her, something began to shift. Sarah took a deep breath, the water pressing all around them. "This isn't just about money or legacy," she said softly. "This is about the people who lived and died on this boat, the stories they left behind. I can't let greed overshadow that." Nathaniel's expression softened, albeit reluctantly. I didn't see it that way," he admitted quietly. "I thought I was doing what was best for us. But I see your point. Then let's make it right," Sarah urged, her voice steady, the wave of resolve washing over them both. "Let's take this treasure to the surface together. We can choose to honor the past and create something meaningful from it, not just for us but for those who came before." Nathaniel nodded, a reluctant acceptance in his eyes. They moved forward together, digging their hands into the chest. The process was slow and laborious, but as they pushed the lid open, a treasure beyond their wildest dreams lay revealed within. Gold coins glimmering, intricate jewelry, and documents telling tales of adventure and hardship. Hours passed in a flurry of discovery and shared excitement. They emerged from the water, breathless and exhilarated, the chest secured in their boat. In that moment, the air above the surface felt electric. Their conflict dissolved in the promise of a new beginning. In the following months, Sarah and Nathaniel faced their new reality. They chose to share the treasure, divvying it in a way that acknowledged the histories entwined within it. The local community rallied around their discovery, with museums showing interest in preserving parts of the boat's story. The newfound wealth allowed Sarah to return to school, pursuing her dream of becoming a historian, while Nathaniel invested in a sustainable fishing venture, eager to turn his life around. Months turned into years, and as Sarah delved into research and uncovering the boat's history, she wrote a book chronicling their discovery. It gained traction, highlighting the importance of heritage and the delicate balance between profit and memory. Years later, as Sarah stood at the podium during a book launch, she smiled at Nathaniel, who was in the audience, his eyes brimming with pride. They had not just formed a partnership, they had forged a friendship built on respect and understanding. Together, they had turned a moment of conflict into a shared legacy, ensuring that the sunken paddle-wheel boat would not just be a relic of the past, but a bridge to a future they could both embrace. As the applause filled the room, Sarah felt a warmth spread through her. They had faced the darkness together, and emerged not just richer in wealth, but richer in compassion, memory, and hope.